It is January 13th, 2020. My name is Bill McCamley. I am the Secretary of the New Mexico Workforce Solutions Department with your work update for this week. So 3 things I wanted to talk to you about. The first is we received word in the middle of last week, mostly when you guys did, that the Escalante coal-powered generating station near Grants, New Mexico was going to be closing down. Here's the information we have so far. There's about 100 people that are going to be losing their jobs. 50 in the middle of March of this year, 50 at the end of this year. I'm actually going out there to a community meeting today at 1 o'clock to get as much information as I can from Tri-State, which is the company that runs the plant, to figure out who these folks are, what kind of severance package is going to be given, what are the training options that they really want to have available for these workers who may want to retrain, and then figure out what we can do to bring our resources to bear to help these folks out. The governor cares very, very deeply about making sure that people have options moving forward. And unfortunately, around the country, what you see is that coal is becoming economically unrealistic. This same process was one that's closing 2 coal plants up in Colorado, and we see the same thing happening up in Farmington. So we really need to do a good job, and we're going to work as hard as we can on that, getting out there, getting the information, getting programs in place to help people out, and that's what we're going to be doing. Second thing I want to talk about is I had a person that was upset with the unemployment process I read about on Facebook this weekend. So let me be clear about how this works. If you are an employer, so you're the person running the business or the organization, and you fire somebody, the person who gets fired gets to get unemployment, which means your taxes go up a little bit because there's a ratio that shows how much you have to pay every year, and the more people that get fired, the more that goes up. That person gets unemployment unless there is a real reason that the person was fired. So if they broke a long-standing policy, if they didn't show up for a long period of time, they got a lot of warning, that sort of thing. If you are the employee and you leave, you do not get unemployment unless there's a reason that you can prove, showing that there was hardship, that you were treated poorly, whatever. So basically what happens is someone comes in and they apply for unemployment and they're given it. However, an employer can say, all right, no, that's not right. And there's a tribunal. There's basically these judges that we employ to kind of oversee the process, and they make a decision based on evidence that can be brought by both people. If people are unhappy with that, they can appeal to me. And I, once a week, usually on Wednesdays, have our legal staff come in and we go over a lot of these appeals and say, okay, this is either worth getting unemployment or not getting unemployment. So we try to treat this process as professionally as we can. Obviously, it's very emotional for some people, but we're moving forward with it. And I just wanted to let everybody know how that works and what happens with it in our process. Lastly, I want to talk about Real ID. So our training staff here at Workforce Solutions is trying to work with the motor vehicle department to try to help make the process better for everybody that goes into a motor vehicle department to get new IDs, new registrations for their cars, whatever. One of the big issues has been Real ID. In fact, that's been the biggest issue that's come up. And I know in October, the federal government is going to require in airports that if you don't have a Real ID on your driver's license, they're not going to say that is okay for you to go through the security checkpoint. So imagine a lot of people are going to be trying to come in at the last minute. Look, you can go on the motor vehicle department website and look up all the documents that you need to have. You've got to have, a social security card, some kind of other ID like a passport. You've got to have proof of residency. That means 2 utility bills. So I went down to Las Cruces to get my Real ID last week. Didn't know I needed 2 pieces of identification for where I live until I talked to my mom the night before. So I ran to the electric company, got a utility bill, went in, and it was fine. The whole process took 16 minutes, and it was really easy to get in and out of there if you do the work you need to go in beforehand. I will say in Las Cruces, they had a person doing triage. So as soon as I walked in, they said, let's look at your documents. Okay, here's where you go. I was in and out. We're going to be working with them to kind of get that process as smooth and fast as we can, because we're here to try to serve everybody better, and that's what we're trying to do. So thanks everybody for watching this. We really appreciate it. And as always, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, please don't hesitate to ask. And I hope everyone's having a great start to their week. Bye.